Welcome to the Sharp Way Show. Larry Sharp here. So happy to have you here on this Friday evening, a little bit after 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And today, there were many things I was considering chatting about. But I thought the cool topic of the day, or of the time, maybe is a better way of doing it, is third parties. Andrew Yang and the Forward Party are very popular. I'm fighting still so I don't get thrown off the ballot, being attacked by another third party, the Conservative Party in New York State. And I think maybe it's time to bring up some of that so that you understand what's going on, what should happen. And of course, as always, I will take your comments and your questions as I always do. There are two parts of this. Part number one is New York State specific, which of course does affect the rest of the country. And then another part is nationally, right? There are two different parts to this. When it comes to New York State, which I know the best, clearly, it's my state. I've run here more than once now. This is what's clear. Third parties are very different than other parts of the country. Because in New York State, we have fusion voting, and fusion voting meaning that you can run on multiple lines at one time, right? You can literally be listed as a Democrat and as a Green Party member. You're listed as a conservative and a Republican, and you're listed two times on the ballot. And you count up all the votes from both of all three of your lines, and you count them up, and that's how many votes you get. If you get enough votes, you win. That's how New York State works. It's very hard for in most states, you can't do that. In some states, you can, but it's a very specific way to do it. Us, it's relatively easy if you can get a line. Now, you might say, Larry, that sounds like a great system. People could cross-endorse candidates, and you could see where the person is, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think in theory that could be true. In practice, it's not true. In practice, it's not true at all. What the average voter sees is, oh, this person's another line. That means these people endorse them. This party's a real party. They're the same as Republicans, Democrats. That's what people see. That's not even close to true. In most cases in New York, they're just parasite parties. There are two exceptions right now in New York State, two that exist in New York State. Green Party, Libertarian Party. The Green Party is an actual party. They actually put their own candidates out. They don't just cross-endorse others. They're an actual party. Sadly, for the Green Party, they don't really have much infrastructure. The DSA, which is Democratic Socialists of America, have really taken any of their real talent in most cases. That's not true, but too much of their talent, I'll say. Yes, too much of their talent. So that hasn't really worked for them. And Libertarian Party has struggled since 2018. We actually did well in 2018, but we struggled in the past also and still struggle. And because of that, most people don't understand how it works. So in New York State, I thought after 2018, learning my lesson, running as a Libertarian only, I thought, you know what? Let me go get allies. I want to create an alliance against the big machine. That's what I want to do. Get an alliance against the establishment. That's what I'll do because I'm super smart. I learned my lessons. I'm going to go figure this out. So I started being nice and opening up conversation with lots of people, to include the Forward Party. Forward Party, which was talk back then. I started reaching out to the Conservative Party, even the Greens. I started reaching out to those parties. Working Families Party too. I actually did an event with the Working Families Party at the South by Southwest event earlier this year in Austin. So yeah, even that, I started going out of my way to meet other people and try to see if I can create some kind of coalition. That did not go well. So I tried hard. That did not go well. But I thought it's the only way to make it work, right? If I can get everybody in together, then maybe we could make it work, right? If I get everybody in together, we could make it work. We could all fight against the establishment. That didn't go well. But let me tell you how and why and what I actually did. Before I go there, if you could do me a favor, please like, comment, and share. I'm going to give you some good inside baseball. I'm going to take your questions. A lot of you have questions. I will absolutely handle those questions also, but I'll also let you know what I was doing and what I was thinking too. If you want to support the show, please follow the World's Smallest Political Quiz, that link right there. Share that link someplace else, right? Let people take that test, take that quiz. It's like 1 minute. It's a very short quiz, maybe 2 minutes. 1 or 2 minute quick quiz. You can talk about it, see what's going on with it. It's interesting conversation starter. It draws people to my sponsor for the show, theadvocates.org. So please, if you can go there, that would be amazing. If you want to follow me, go to Discord here. This is my Discord link, Larry Sharp Discord. Click that link, join a Discord so you can see what we're doing there. And of course, if you want to support me personally, LarrySharp.com/donate as I cross the state. If you want a cool shirt like this or a cool mug like this, you can get either of those at LarrySharp.com/shop. That will also support the campaign. So thank you for that. I appreciate all of your help. Let me grab a couple of these if I could questions already. Let's see here. Kevin says, I have some comments, but I don't have the time today. All right, you can watch it later. No worries. I'm happy. Yes. Charles says, New York State, the 49th worst state for taxes. Maybe start there. And then probably 50th. I think we're the worst. Take that, California. We're probably the worst. Absolutely. Yes, 100%. So let me bring up the first groups of people that I talk with. One was Forward. And to be Forward, the Forward people were very open to the conversation. Very open. I was surprised. Why was I surprised? Because generally speaking, I always thought of Forward as being a used to be Democrat party. That's how I thought of Forward back then. I'm not sure that's true now. I'm unsure what that is now. I think Forward has made a change recently. But back then, that's how I imagined Forward. And me imagining Forward that way, I believed incorrectly. But I believe that, they're going to see, some libertarian, dismissive, push him away. That is not what happened. They were like, okay, let's have a conversation. And it went very well. And they agreed to endorse me and even considered putting in cash to help me get a ballot access line here in New York State. I was like, wow, I did not expect that to go that well. It went very well. And in the end, they thought it's impossible to get a ballot access line. They were basically right. And I wish they were wrong, but they're basically right. But they still endorsed me, which is awesome. I still have that endorsement. So that's awesome. But I also went to the Greens. And you say, Larry, you went to the Greens. I did. I didn't think the Greens could get on the ballot, and they couldn't either. And the reason why I believe that was the Greens have not been very aggressive in building out their infrastructure across New York State. They have not been very aggressive in building it out. So I thought, you don't have infrastructure, you can't make the numbers. That's what I believed. And I told them that. And for those of you who support the Green Party, you're either going to be happy or mad about this. I don't know which one you're going to be. I went to the Green Party. I know Howie Hawkins personally. I know the vice chair. I know them. And I asked them, I said, look, do you have somebody for my ticket? There are 4 people, 5 total on my ticket if you count the senator, but I didn't really count that. It's me, Lieutenant Governor, Attorney General, and Controller. And I said, do you have somebody for my ticket? It's early on. It's like last year, early on. Do you have somebody for my ticket? Like, what? Yep. If you got a Green Party guy or gal for my ticket, why don't I put them on my ticket? You guys don't run a line this year, but help me get on the line. Help me get the ballot. I'll give you one and we'll help you get in the ballot. That was actually a conversation we had. They said no. They said no. I think that was a terrible mistake the Greens made. That's my opinion, clearly unbiased. If you're a Green Party member, you may disagree. But I thought it was a terrible idea. They literally were like, no, we're just going to run and lose. And they ran and lost and they're not in the line and the party's destroyed. I don't know why they decided that. They had a choice of, even if they lost the party, they would have been part of us. And my libertarian brothers and sisters would have been so unhappy. But I would have done it if I thought I could have had a good chance of making something happen, creating an actual coalition. I was trying to not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. No. So Green Party lost, gone. Okay, done. So I went to the Conservative Party too. Conservatives too. I thought, well, conservatives this time I thought Conservative Party has, they figured it out, right? Conservatives have a new leader, a guy named Jerry Kassar. The last guy, Mike Long, he passed away recently, but he left. The Republicans and Conservative Party lost their leadership after my run last time. They will tell you it's other reasons. It's because of my run. They look so bad. They had to spend so much extra money. They embarrassed themselves in 2018 that both of the leaders had to step down. And they got new leadership, both the Conservative Party in New York State and the Republican Party in New York State. Both got new leadership. And you would think, oh, well, here's what you would think, right? Being a person out there. Oh, good. The Conservatives and Republicans in New York State learned their lesson in 2018, right? Larry Sharp was a better candidate than the ones they put up. So what we should do is learn our lesson and we'll get better with the leadership. Yeah, no, that didn't happen. They went, yeah, this is a lost cause. let's put some grifters at the top of our party, and we'll grift as much as we possibly can until the world ends. Larry, are you calling the top of those two parties grifters? Yes, that's what I'm calling. Yes. And it's obvious. You can see it. It's clearly obvious. That's what's happening. But here's the worst part about that. Grift is going to grift. I get it. But the worst part about both of these other parties, the conservatives and Republicans, are the grift that they're getting is off of desperate conservative and Republican New Yorkers who are being told a lie again. Now, I went to the Conservative Party, right? And I was like, hey, guys, what kind of alliance can we make? I got an alliance with the Forward Party now. That was already there. The Forward Party was still an alliance. The Forward Party did not commit to getting a party line at this time, but they committed to an endorsement. So I'm like, okay, I got a Forward Party. So I got a left-leaning line. Give me a Conservative Party line. Come on, do this, right? And they were like, no. But what are you doing? No. So what are they going to do? They're going to back the Republican again. They did it in 2018. Has New York State gotten any better? Has it become more conservative? Has anything changed? No. So they learned a lesson, right? No, not at all. They didn't learn a lesson one single bit. No lesson whatsoever. They did exactly the same thing. But here's the worst part. In 2018, the Conservative Party had an actual conservative who was running. I think his name was DiStefano, if I'm not mistaken. DiStefano? Oof. DeFrancisco was the guy's name. I'm sorry. DeFrancisco was the guy's name. I think he's out of Syracuse or Rochester. Someone I'm sure will correct me, but I'm pretty sure that was him. DeFrancisco, and I think he was out of one of those two. And he actually had, he was conservative. And they gave him initially the ticket, and they went, well, now we're just going to backstab you and follow the Republican. They lost, got their butt kicked, didn't even get that many votes, almost didn't make the threshold for what the current threshold, which is 130. And they're like, oh my God, what should we do now? I told them, if you want to move a third party forward in any way, here's what you must have: a personality. That's what does it. Jesse Ventura, right? Ross Perot, now Andrew Yang. You have to have a personality. If you have a personality behind it, that's what moves people. I said, put me on your line. I'll run Libertarian. And at that point, I didn't know if I was going to have a forward line or not. Maybe I'll run a forward line. We didn't know at that point. And I'll run Libertarian. Let's have a person where I'm the third party guy. I'll be the personality. I will do the whole thing. Come on, let's do this. And they went, no, why would we do that? And I thought, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you actually move against the establishment? Why wouldn't you do that? And they went, well, money. I'm not joking. It was money. The grifter class was more concerned about taking your money than they were about making impact in New York State. They already know it's a lost cause. And I know if you're a conservative right now in New York State, you don't want to hear that. I know you don't. I get it. It's still true. And it's obvious. You've seen the recent polls. The recent polls. The Republicans running at 35%. He'll get less by the time comes. Why? How do I know that? Because you see what Democrats are doing already. They are bringing up January 6th like there's no tomorrow. There's going to be those January 6th things and across New York State. That works. For those of you in non-blue states, you laugh at January 6th if you live in a red state. If you live in a blue state, you don't laugh at January 6th. That scares you. New York's a deep blue state. That's going to work here. Regardless of your personal thoughts, that is going to work here. As that works here, he's going to wind up getting 25% of the vote, or he's going to lose by 20, 30 points. That's how it's going to work, right? Of course, but he's still raising money. Now, here's what I would ask you. You saw the impact I made with $500,000 last year. I'm right now, my most recent poll, I'm polling at 7%. 7% right now. I haven't even raised $500,000 yet, and I'm polling at 7%. If they took those $11 million, and I asked the Republicans this, if they took that $11 million they threw away of your money that they threw away at the current Republican, and they put that $11 million behind me, I'd win. No doubt. And if you think that's not true, you don't understand my state. If I had $11 million, I win. Guaranteed. And it's for one of the dumbest reasons. It's two of them together. Two of the dumbest reasons. One, I respect people. I know, sounds crazy. If I'm not liberal enough for you, I still respect you being more liberal than me. If I'm not conservative enough for you, I still respect you being conservative, more conservative than me. I respect you either way. I know, crazy. And two, I have a transparent personality. I know, nuts. I know, nuts. I have a transparent personality. Those two things, I'd be the governor. So the Republican and conservative parties just are taking your money. They're going to lose again. And they didn't even want me. That's not true. That's not true. There were people who reached out saying, hey, Larry, you want to be lieutenant governor candidate? People reached out for that. And this was before Zeldin was the winner. So I don't know if it was Zeldin's team or not. I don't want to say that. Last time it actually was the other team did actually ask that question. This time, I don't know. Again, the individual Republicans in the establishment had asked out. Zeldin didn't have he did not have the nomination yet. So I actually don't know if it was on behalf of Zeldin's team, but it was Republican operatives asking, hey, do you want to have the lieutenant governor spot? And my response was, I can lose on my own. I've proven that I can do. And well, with style, that I can do. So I said, I don't need you then. What do I need you for? I don't need you to do that. I want to make real impact. I want to make a change. I have a chance of actually winning. And then a chance of actually making impact if I lose versus just another guy who ran, which is what all the Republicans are for the past 20 years. Another guy who ran. And this is our issue right now. And what about the left parties? The Greens, very disappointed in Greens. They shot themselves for no reason. We could have been allies. But okay, that's what they want to do. No worries. They did what they want to do. The Working Families Party. Outside of New York State, the Working Families Party does some decent work. Inside New York State, they just back the Democrat. They're the same as the conservatives. They're a parasite party. Now, why would you want to do that? I'll give you the reason why. You may say, how did they make money? All right. Just about a month or two ago, the Conservative Party held an event, and former Vice President Pence came. And you would say, oh, that sounds great. Well, how do you get former Vice President Pence to show up at a Conservative Party of New York meeting? Well, you kiss the Republicans' butt and give them your line and go, take my line, we'll endorse you. And so that guy gets Pence to show up. That's what happens. That's how that works. You might say, why do I care if Pence shows up? Because if Pence shows up to your event, you can charge $500 a head. I'm not joking. $1,000 a head if you want to. Charge whatever you want. So you charge $500 a head. Maybe it costs you $100 a head. Probably not even that. You put $400 a head in your pocket. Literally, $400 per person in the pocket. 1,000 people show up, 400 grand. That's how you make money. That's how you make money. So if you're on top of the Conservative Party or the Working Families Party or one of the parasite parties, that's how you make money. You might go, Larry, why don't you do that? I could do that, but then I don't care. I'd go do something else to make that kind of money. Why would I do this and lose my soul to make that money? I'd rather make my money some other way. And if I'm going to lose my soul, it's for a whole lot more than 400 grand, right? I don't want to lose my soul. But if I do lose my soul, it's for a whole lot more than 400 grand. 400 million, we could talk, maybe, right? But not 400 grand. It's nowhere near worth it. Or I could just make money without losing my soul. That's kind of a better way of doing it. So I'd rather do that instead. That's what's happening right now in our state. So with all that in mind, Working Families Party just backing the Democrat just to raise money. Conservative Party totally selling out conservatives, not picking a conservative, and the leadership just deciding, you know what, I'm just going to do that. I'm still running anyway. I say, you know what, none of you guys are going to help me. I'm going to run anyway. And I go run anyway. And I fight anyway. And the Conservative Party decides to stop me. Yes, those you're saying, who's suing you? It's the Conservatives and Republican Party suing me. Well, Larry, why don't Democrats sue you? Well, why would they? They don't care. It's 2-3. It's 3-1. Outside New York State, New York City 6-1. But the state's almost 3-1 Democrat to Republican. Almost 3-1. It's getting that bad. The polls are out. The Republicans going to lose. We all knew that. Democrat knows, I'm going to win. So, Larry, knock yourself out. Do your thing. Do you. Good for you. Do you. I don't care. Because here's what they don't realize. Last time when I did as well as I did, for the first time ever making impact across the state, it actually made the Republican Party look bad. That's why they lost the leadership. Guess what? When I do well again this year, they can look bad again. You might go, but Larry, I'm a Republican or I'm a conservative. You should be happy that I'm doing this. I tell you all the time, you guys don't believe me, but I tell you all the time, if you have a powerful third party, and powerful just means effective, it could be 20%, 13%, 10% of the electorate. Forward or Libertarian. Obviously, I prefer Libertarian. I'm clearly biased, but Forward would work too. If you have a powerful third party, that party is the check on the system. And Ross Perot showed us that in the 90s. He made us think about, what does it mean to be a Republican? What does it mean to be a Democrat? You will have better Republicans and better Democrats if you have a powerful Libertarian Party. And powerful just means effective, that it can win some elections. It can take a chunk of the electorate. People have to pay attention to it. It will help and make things better. That's why I pushed it. That's why I'm the only guy still fighting. We went into the field. We took our units into the field, and the monsters known as Democrats, Republicans came out and devastated all the third parties. Two of the parties sold out to them, the Working Families Party and the sellout Conservative Party. They sold out to not people who aren't even who they are, to the establishment. I'm still fighting. Now they're all gone and I'm still here. They didn't know they were messing with the Marine. I'm still in the field. I'm still fighting. So that's the most important piece. Anyway, so what does it mean for the future? I talk about, that's some New York inside baseball. It is my opinion that coming up here in November, I will be on the ballot. That's what I believe. I mean, it's trying to throw me off. We haven't got a decision yet, so we'll find that they've thrown me off or not. They're trying to throw me off the ballot. We'll see. Hopefully we'll know by next week. It has been 2 weeks for a decision, which is usually a good sign, but you never know. This is probably our 5th time suing. We've lost 4 times in a row. Yes, I will keep going into the breach until we get through. I will attack and attack and attack and attack until I break that hole. And we failed 4 times. We'll assault again. And we're still fighting. So hopefully this is the time that it works. We'll find out. So if that does happen, and they don't throw me off the ballot, then there I am. If I am thrown off the ballot, I'll fight again. We'll get one more on. We'll fight. We'll peel that. We'll go back into the breach one more time. And if nothing else, we'll do a writing campaign. If nothing else happens, no matter what, we will continue the battle. I'm here. When you run third party, and many of you have heard people go, "You stupid third party people, you'll never win." Yes, because the system is set up to do that, and because so many people don't believe it, so it can't work. But third parties do win. It does happen. It's just rare. That's the reality. It does happen. It's just rare. So, yes, in New York, I plan to be on the ballot. If I get on the ballot, here's the issue. If I get on the ballot, then I will be in the debates. If I'm in the debates, oh my God, you will be watching those debates. The debates will be legendary. Legendary. When that happens, we have a shot at actually making an impact, maybe even winning. I really think we can win. That's what happened with Jesse Ventura, the last independent governor who won in the 90s. That's what happened. He had a good campaign. Wasn't great, but it was a good campaign. We have a good campaign. Not great, but good. And then debates. Boom. He won. That's how it worked. We can do that here too. But let's say for some reason things don't go as well as I expect. All right, no worries. The other thing to realize here is we'll just do well. That's fine. We'll do well. We'll break our 130 easily. We'll do well. Life is good. Still fine. We can now move forward, keep pushing. If for some reason I can't make the 130, there will not be a third party or independent candidate across New York State for a generation. For a generation. It's over. Because if I can't make it, a sitting congressman can't make it, a multimillionaire can't make it, nobody can make it. It's over. Right? It's over. But you might say, well, that's just Larry. That's just New York, Larry. No. If you want to be a real, an absolutely real, caring about real change in the country, You have to have 50 state ballot access. There'll be no presidential candidate on the ballot in New York State except for Democrats and Republicans. There'll be no 50 state ballot access. There'll be no other presidential candidate. Yes. That's the issue. So let me grab some of your comments and questions. I know a lot of you guys are giving me some, so I appreciate it. So, Brad Barron, how are you, brother? Brad's a great guy. So thank you. Oh, hold on. Kentucky, right? Brad, I think it's right. Kentucky, right? Awesome. Yeah, I do my show before. Brad's a great guy. I'm glad you're watching. Thank you. You're not too bad yourself, brother. Not too bad yourself. Yes. Kevin says, I don't think older people understand the third party movement. I agree. I think many of them don't, but also I think many young people don't either. So yes, I think both. Absolutely. So, okay, here. Ryan says, Larry talking Gen 4 nuclear with Howie Hawkins. That's what we need. How will you know does it Greens don't like nuclear power. So what would I've had to do? I would have had to do things that you've seen me before. Some of you have seen me on stage with Yang before. There are things him and I disagree on. We don't talk about those things. That's it. That's what a coalition is about. We focus on the things that we agree upon. We push those issues. Other issues we don't talk about. Right? Not with them around. Right? When they're around in the room with us, we talk about issues that we both agree upon. That's it. Other things we don't even talk about. And that's what we did. And I would do that again. So Howie Hawkins and I, we're not going to talk nuclear energy. We'll talk other stuff, but not that. Believe it or not, Howie Hawkins is pro 2A. Some people don't know that, but that's true. So see, we got that one at least. I love that. Yes. All right. Let me keep going here if I can. Danny says, what's the next step? I hope, Danny, that I answered your question. Absolutely. So let me grab that here. Ryan says, I wear my Sharpway shirt in our shop on the regular, and I hand out your flyers to anyone who brings up politics. Thank you. I need so much more of that. Yes, absolutely. Logic says the lockdowns induce depression too. 100% true. 100% true. Yes, absolutely. Anthony says, we defiantly need, I think he means definitely, need cooperation to beat the axis powers of Republicans, Democrats. You know, the issue that you just bring up, Anthony, is yes, I want to ally with who I can ally with, even if they're imperfect. Because I do think we need people to get together against the establishment. Because here's the issue. Even though I'm mad at the conservative and Republican Party establishment, I love average Republican and conservative voters. They're not party establishment. They're not getting the money. They're giving the money. They're the ones getting grifted upon, right? If you're a conservative Republican in New York State, an average voter, you're not getting into this money. They're soaking you down for more cash and giving you nothing in return. And here's my perfect example. If you are in 2018, if you were in New York State in 2018 and you gave your time, your money, and or your energy to the Republican candidate, what did you get? Nothing. At least half you can't remember who ran. Literally, you can't remember who ran. No idea. Half you have no idea. Yeah. What'd you get? Nothing. Something get better, new ideas, nothing. All the campaign stuff that they talked about, where's that? Nowhere. I don't see any policies being brought, nothing. Of course not. You literally threw your time, money, and energy in the garbage. What if you loved Cuomo? Oh, but anyway, what if you did and you put your time, money, and energy into Cuomo? What'd you get? Nothing. The state's still a disaster. People still leaving as fast as possible. Yeah. And he left in disgrace. Yeah. Nothing. What if you put your time, money, and energy into my campaign? What'd you get? I'm still here. I'm still here, spewing my policies and ideas on every podcast I can get on, getting all the press I can possibly do, talking about what's happening in New York State, trying to move this needle forward to the best of my ability. You put your time, money, and energy into me, you get something. Them, garbage, you get nothing. It's literally throwing your money in the garbage. And here's the worst part. The Democrats at least aren't lying to you in this case. They're saying, give me money and I'll win. They'll win. They're right. That's true at least. The Republicans are saying, give me money and this is our year. We're going to win. That's a lie. And they know it's a lie. They do polling too. It's not like we're the only ones who do polling. The Republican Party does polling. Democratic Party does polling. I do polling. We all do polling. We know what's happening. We know where the average is, right? My average, by the way, is going up. I'm up to 7% now. My lowest, probably at 4% was my lowest. My highest is 7%. So I'm going up in polling. Who else is going somewhere? Nowhere. Same as always. So I thought, you know what? Let me get as many coalition partners as possible to move against the establishment. The establishment is our enemy. That's our enemy, the establishment. So yes, I want all of them. John says Green Party sees foot and shoots. Green Party has not been very good in general across the nation. It has not been very powerful. I think their attempt to become socialist was actually a good idea. You might think, why would I say that? Not because I'm a socialist, obviously, but because there is a groundswell of socialism in America. And if you want that, the Green Party grabbing it conceptually, I think was actually a good idea for the party. Again, I'm not a socialist. I'm saying strategically for the party, if I was advising them, that's not a bad deal. I think the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, really grabbed that groundswell faster and better than the Green Party with better execution and organization. And I think the Green Party is suffering because of that. So I think they're in trouble. I agree. I think the Green Party is in trouble. That's what I think. But we'll find out coming up here. I could be totally wrong. So yes. Pete says, will we have ballot access in New York? If 130,000 New Yorkers or more vote for me coming up here, Pete, you better tell your friends. I get 130,000 votes in November. Yes, that's how that works. That's all I need. And that should be easy. I should easily get over 200,000. Easily. I hope to get over 500,000. I hope to get 2 million and win this damn thing. Actually, I only need about 1.5 million will win. About 1.5 million will win, give or take. 1.5 million, 2 million to win. So if we get around 2 million or so, we'll win. So yes, in that area. So yes. All right. John says, it's my understanding that ballots are being printed now. If he wins a case, can they reprint ballots? Yes, of course. Of course they can. They had to do it last time too. For those of you who don't remember, Cynthia Nixon was running in 2018, and the Working Families Party, the party that cares, special party, got behind her, and she was actually printed on the ballots. And then the Working Families Party said, "Oh yeah, remember that thing about us backing you, Cynthia? Yeah, just kidding." And they threw her off, and they picked up Cuomo because they're parasite parties. Just like, because everybody did the same thing. They wanted DeFrancisco back then. Oh, we got you, DeFrancisco. We got you. Oh, no, we want money. We don't care about. Even though we say we're conservatives as a party, we don't actually back conservative people at all. We just want cash. So they did a money grift in 2018, and they lost their leadership over it. You would think that they would learn this time, but no. So yes, they can reprint. Absolutely. Logic says, I still don't trust Yang. I think a lot of people don't trust Yang, but to be forward with you, whether you trust Yang or not, in reality, we really we have to roll the dice. We need help. But there's an old rule, generally speaking, in battle. If you're winning, don't roll the dice. If you're losing, roll the dice, because you're losing and you want to try to win. So yes. Daniel says it's always the money, and the less it's worth, the more they'll scramble for it. That's funny. That's I like that. I like that. Yes. So, is it Anoni? I hope I'm saying your name right. Anoni, tell you now, nothing will change except crime by the government. Will that really change? I don't think that won't even change. I think nothing. Yes. Jason says, should we continue to support the show Patreon? Yes, absolutely. Please. 100%. This show does matter. And the show's not going away. You might go, Larry, what do you mean? Whether I win, whether I lose, no matter what, the show does not go away, Jason. I got this idea. For some of you remember when I ran last time, I had a show called The Gov Shack. And I was a weekly show I would try to do during the campaign so that I can talk back and forth with people. And I got the idea, honestly, some of you might be upset when I'm going to say this, but I'm be forward. I got the idea from Giuliani. I did. Rudy Giuliani used to do a show when he was mayor of New York. I think it was every Thursday morning at 10 o'clock on WOR Radio 710. I know I used to work there, so ads there. And he would go every at 10 a.m., I think, every Thursday. And he would come on for an hour and take calls and talk to people in New York City. I thought it was a wonderful idea. I loved how he did it. And he did it almost, I think, his entire time as mayor. And I thought, what a good idea. So I started it when I was running for office last time. But it was called The Gov Shack. And now, once I stopped running, I started up another show, The Sharp Way. The Sharp Way stays. So yes to that question. Absolutely yes, yes, and yes. 100%. Yes. William says, I'm sorry I didn't win that $1 billion lottery. You would have had the 11 million. Thank you, William. I appreciate the thought process. I do. Yes, absolutely. So, Let's see here. Go one more. Jeremy says, I love your transparency and openness, Larry. You know, I follow the Gary Johnson model. And I know some people don't like Gary Johnson. I loved Gary Johnson. And I loved him not because I thought he was the best presidential candidate, not because of that. I loved him because he's a good man. He's an honest, straightforward, transparent, good man. What you see is what you get. If you don't like that, okay, but that's what it is. And you can decide on that. I follow his model. And I want to be I want you to look at me and go, that's the guy I'm getting. All right. Do I want that? Vote. I don't want that. I'm not voting for the guy. I don't want you to have any doubt when you cast that vote, what you're getting. Everything I do, you see it. Live, no notes. Every event I've been at, every speech I've given, every show I've done, live, no notes. You get me. There's no teleprompter here. There's no notes. I don't have cards. You saw me do debates in 2018. I did three debates in 2018. All three, no notes, no cards. And I showed them online, live. In case I screwed up, I guess I'm screwing up then. Yes, 100%. It's the way. Yes. So, all righty. Then he goes on to say, it's crazy while we're still waiting. It is. Dalton says, honest question, why do you stay in New York? Well, Dalton, it's a great question. I have considered leaving. For some of you who don't remember my story, the reason why I ran for governor the first time, not the reason, it's wrong. The catalyst, that's a better way of saying it. The catalyst for running last time, I was going to leave New York. I was done. I was going to move. And for what I do, my business consulting plan, right, which you'll guess my business is NeoSage, and my consulting group, I was going to pack up and move. I have to be near a big city. It's one reason why I live in New York City. My client base in New York City. How do I know so much about finance? I work in the finance field with finance executives. So that's my world. I make my money. I pay my bills based upon working with large, wealthy organizations, usually tech, law, and finance. Those are my three fields I tend to work in as a consultant. So I got to go to a big city. So I decided, you know what I think I'm going to go to? Charlottesville. No, Charlotte, not Charlottesville. Charlotte. Sorry, wrong one. Charlotte, North Carolina. I was going to go there. I thought I'll go to Charlotte. That's a big city in North Carolina. They've got a lot of big businesses there. I can make some money. So I went down there, checking it out. And when I was down there, I was like, man, I can sell my shoebox of a house here in Queens, buy a mansion in North Carolina, cheaper, better. Oh my God, it's amazing. But I didn't leave. Instead of me doing that, I got mad. And I said, why in the world do I have to leave my beautiful state? For those of you who don't know, New York State is an absolutely beautiful state. And I'm not just saying that because I live here. It is an amazingly beautiful state. Whatever you like, it's here. Biggest city in the country, beautiful lakes, rivers, mountains, skiing, hunting, fishing, Niagara Falls, beaches, Broadway, whatever is your thing, New York State's got it, guaranteed. If you like hot summers, you like cold winters, you like beautiful fall, you like the leaves, we got that. We got you. Mountain climbing, we got you. Doesn't matter. We got you in New York State. It's beautiful. The problem is our government is so oppressive, it breaks up families. And if I could break that government, I could fix this state. And I got mad. So I said, I'm coming back. I'm running for governor. I'm going to win, and I'm going to fix the state. That did not go as planned, in case you guys haven't figured that one out. I did not win the governorship. I didn't fix the state. But when I ran is when I saw how bad the system was. Because I was ignorant to the system, as many people are. Most are. They don't understand how bad the system is, how corrupt it is, how most politicians actually hate their constituents, how the system is made up for just the elites to always win, how the party system is full of grifters. They don't know that. How would you? I went there. I saw it. I fought it. I got my butt kicked. And when I got my butt kicked, I didn't go, I got my butt kicked. Libertarian Party shucks. I didn't do that. What I said is, all right, I lost that one. That sucked. And the hardest part for that loss for me, was all the people I let down. Failure always sucks. And when you fail in your life, it sucks. I've failed many times. I've lost businesses. I've collapsed financially, and I've had tons of issues in my life, of course. And many of you have too, I'm sure. So as you know, if you've done that before, of course, failure sucks. begin to doubt yourself. Are you good enough? What'd you do wrong? You blame somebody else. You have a pity party, whatever. That is a little pity party too, of course. Just human. Of course I did. The question isn't whether or not you have a pity party. We all do. The question is, how long is your pity party? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 5 days? Is it 5 years? If it's 5 years, you have a problem. If it's 5 minutes or 5 days, you'll be fine. You get over it, get back on the horse, keep going. So I got back on the horse and I said, okay, what did I learn from this? How do I fix this? What do I do? That's why I started working on coalitions and the show. So I stay in New York because it's my state. I'm born here. I work here. I live here. I love the state. It's where I am. I know the state. I can talk trash about my state all day long. It's my state. And I know how to fix it. I know the people here. So yes. But I still consider moving. My wife's considering leaving. She's like, when are we going to go? Everyone's trying to get me to go upstate. Maybe I'll go upstate. I don't know. New York City it's a tough place to live. So, and as you talk about lockdowns, the lockdowns made me realize most of my work now is from my home office. I don't have to go into an office anymore. I mean, unless I want to be an actual consultant on a business line, I might have to go into an office, but I don't have to. So I can do my work from any place now. So the value of being in New York City, not so great anymore. It's gone away. So I agree. So, all right. All right. Sam says, when they sued you, I made it my mission to convert Republicans to Libertarians. Thank you. I'm proud to say that I've gotten close to 50 to agree to change the registration. Big O, F you to the Union Party. Yes. Well, Sam, here's what I would ask you to do also. Not just Republicans. Conservatives, too. And you might go, Larry, why would I want to convert conservatives? Here's the reason why. If you are a New York State conservative, you don't have a party. I don't mean to be mean. I'm just being very forward. If you are a conservative in New York State, you don't have a party. Your party is a grifter party that just does whatever Republicans tell it to do. It's shown its colors multiple times. That's what your party is. Your party does not respect you. It doesn't pick real conservatives. It doesn't do anything. The guy they're backing didn't bother to vote on gun control. Didn't bother to vote on it. That's your guy? You 2A supporters? That's your guy? Didn't bother voting. Didn't bother voting as when he was in the New York State Assembly, and didn't bother voting when he was in Congress. Neither time. Didn't bother to vote. That's how much he cares about your 2A rights. That guy. What about the guy how about the guy who stopped the lockdowns? Oh, he didn't do that either, did he? Did he talk against them when the time came? No. He didn't say a word. I was 100% on it. I gave you the whole plan. So if you are conservative in New York State, remember something. I may not be as conservative as you are. Yeah, you probably get me on that one. It's probably true. However, big however, I respect you and will let you live the way you want to live and will not try to push my views upon you. I will give local people more control over their own lives. Everything from education to business to firearms, local people have more choice in their own worlds. That's what I do. Your party just takes your money and gives it to the Republicans. That's what your party does. So I would also say conservatives too. So hope that was, yeah, good. Let's see here. DJ Elf 7 says Yang is disgusting. He's being projected falsely as a champion for third parties. He's only about an apparatus that keeps him in the money, which is fine, but he doesn't work on the issues. You know, I've heard that before, that this is really about him. And this is what I'll say. I'll say, you may know, you've worked with him, if I remember right, closer than I have. I haven't. From what I've seen, I don't see that to be the evidence to be true yet. It may be true. It may come out as true. But I haven't seen that. So I know people, you're not the only person to tell me that. So maybe they know something I don't know. But I haven't seen that. I've seen a forward party be very good to me, be very open and honest to me, never lie or mislead me. That's what they've done to me. So maybe I'm special. Maybe they're waiting to stab me in the back. It's possible, I guess. But I haven't seen this at all, is what I would tell you. I haven't seen any of this. He goes on to say, why did Yang abandon UBI? No explanation. I think he did try to explain it. And I'll tell you what I think is real and his explanation. His explanation is you can't get a UBI done unless you change the system, so focus on the system. That's his explanation. Let me tell you what I think it really is. I think with the people that he wanted to ally with and join, they don't want UBI, right? If you look at who he's united with, they don't want UBI. The farther left part of the left, I guess, of the Democrats or of the progressive movement, they have not joined the Forward Party, and that part wanted UBI. What joined the Forward Party was much more of a middle ground. Middle ground people don't want UBI. So his explanation is, can't get it done to change the system. My personal opinion, the coalition doesn't believe in it. I hope that answers your question. Or at least tells you what I think. You may disagree. I hope I gave you what I think. So yes. Kirsten says, you'd be quite good in debates against the big party candidates. I actually was, and we beat them up pretty badly. So yes, absolutely. 100%. That's great. So, all right. James says, wait, a Green supports the Second Amendment and yet a Republican doesn't? Yes. Yeah, well, some of you may not know this. This kind of goes back to what DJ Elf was talking about. The far left, and I mean the very far left in this country, is actually pro-Second Amendment. Why? If you're a full-on socialist, the people have to be armed, right? If you're a full-on socialist to defend yourself against the bourgeoisie, right? So you have to be. So Howie Hawkins is very far left. He's a socialist. So if you go, I would say, if you go far left enough, you get your guns back. And that's actually a true story. Most people don't know that. They think of the left being the average Democrat. The average Democrat does not want you to have guns. They're totally anti-gun. But if you go far enough left, like hardcore socialist communists, get the guns back because they want them to fight the government. So I hope that makes sense at least. So yeah, Howie's very much far left. He is actually pro. He's so far left, he's pro 2A. I hope that answers your question. So yes. Pete says, how do we get the housing/rental market back down to normal? Inflation and housing market killing people in New York. Yes, I've talked about this many times. No one seems to have an answer except the answer I give you. The biggest part of what has affected the housing market in the last 5 or 10 years is permanent and private capital buying up homes. Now, why would permanent or private, what that means is hedge funds, big banks. That's what I mean by permanent and private capital, right? The big banks, those types of things. Those people those groups have been purchasing lots of homes. Why would they do that? Because the Fed has lowered interest rates so low that the safest investments used to be things like bonds, right? Municipal bonds, things like that. But now there's virtually no return on it. They don't make any money on it. If they don't make money on it, they go, where do I go next? And they found real estate. Rentals is pretty safe. You get money, you get returns, rent, while you're buying it, so you can leverage easily. You can loan and buy even more money. So if you're a big bank or a hedge fund, you already have, I don't know, $5 billion. I'm not joking, these amounts of money they use. They can now borrow another $5 billion and service the debt with the rental payments. So now they have $10 billion to buy stuff. And so now, Pete, you want to come in and buy a house, and you say, well, I got a mortgage. In comes big bank going, I got cash, and I'll give you 10% more. You can't get a house now. Now there's not enough housing for you. Now you're stuck being a renter. Well, that rent you're paying is paying off the debt that hedge fund used to get extra money to buy a house from you. So you're paying them. That's how that actually works. So what do? Pull them out of the market. That was my entire plan. Give them something better to go to, right? It's that simple. And what am I talking about? Creating a New York State social trust. You create a New York State social trust that gives them safe returns guaranteed by New York State revenue, right? So as long as New York State doesn't go under, they get paid a dividend. It's not debt, so we don't have debt. It's just you bought in, so you get dividend. Every year, dividend. Now, dividend will be higher or lower, but it's guaranteed. And if New York State makes more money, you get more money. If it doesn't make money, you get less. That's how it gets paid off. Done deal. Now that stuff will come out. When that comes out, all of a sudden now, you find the prices will come down because there'll be less people buying houses. That makes it less permanent capital buying houses. That's step number one. Step number two, move towards and encourage a rent-to-own mentality, which means now if you start renting, right? And I say this all the time, wealthy people or savvy, usually wealthy, savvy people, wealthy people, they don't rent. They go out of their way to try to get some kind of equity so that when they leave, they get a check, right? Because if you have equity in your home, when you sell your home and move, you get a check, whatever is the value of your home, right? When you sell it, if you minus whatever your mortgage is, but you get some money to leave. When you rent, what do you get when you leave? Nothing. Bye. Maybe you get 1 month back, maybe, or nothing, or half of that when they decide they got to, whatever, they have to clean the carpets, so you get no money back, or whatever they decide to do, landlord does, you get nothing. Or half of your rent, maybe 1 month. That's it. But if you have rent to own plans, so now once you're in there, your place for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you leave, you get a check. If you get a check, now you can find a place to go, maybe buy an apartment, maybe buy a house, do something, or stay in the house and own it. If you encourage rent to own with a drop in taxation upon the sale for the big private capital, permanent capital, they'll do more rent to own schemes. And you might go, why is it a bad thing? It's a good thing only, because we have zoning issues also, right? Well, zoning issues are usually because they don't want poor people renting. Poor renters scares most people and lowers property value. But if instead I'm not doing poor people renting, as is the assumption, instead I'm doing rent to own. Rent to own changes NIMBYism, because as people begin to have owners, price goes up, value goes up, everything goes up. You have less NIMBYism. NIMBYism is not my backyard. You have less of that. Plus, now you have people who are heavy hitters, big banks and such, permanent capital, wanting to build those things because they can build it, again, take the money and pay off their debt, and they get a huge tax break at the end of it when they sell it. They'll want to do it also. If they do that, they have lots of power and money, and they can negotiate to change the zoning. They control it now. Again, less NIMBYism. That is what you do to fix the housing/rental market. That's how you fix it in New York State. Try to get some other candidate to give you an answer. They won't. They have no answer. I just gave you one. So yes. All right. Let's see here. William goes on to say, most leftists are pro-gun. Marx told people not to give up their guns. Yes. He's right. Yes. Craig says we need more people to run in local elections too. Craig is correct. Craig is actually running. Yes, he's out there running. So yes, go check out Craig Caldwell. He's actually running in New York State in the Southern Tier. Love it. So yes, absolutely. So, all right. Let's see here. Missy says, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. She's right. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Paula says, duopoly is a waste of time in New York. Kathy cannot lose and Lee cannot win. Larry is win no matter what. Yes. He will have impact with the time of vote. Yes. Thank you, Paula. You are correct. Everyone should know that. 100%. Daniel says, wore my t-shirt to work every Friday since I got it. Getting lawn signs and bumper stickers this weekend. Thank you. Everyone should copy what Daniel's doing. Head over to LarrySharp.com. Shop. You can get those things too. Please. Yes. Absolutely. Dumb question. Anthony says, oops, hold on. He says, do you know if I'll see you on the ballot? I don't know. I say yes. We'll hope the judge agrees with me. But again, I'm being sued by the Conservative Party because here's the worst part. I'm literally being sued. They did a separate lawsuit, not even the Board of Elections. They went out of their way to hire a lawyer. I'm not joking. They went out of their way to hire a lawyer to make a separate lawsuit so that if the BOE actually said, no, you could be, Board of Elections, by the way, you can be in the ballot, that they would have the judge force the BOE to throw me off the ballot. Yes, and that's what I'm fighting now. They're trying to get a judge to force the BOE to throw me off the ballot. Yes, I'm hoping the judge does not agree to this. So if the judge agrees, I gotta appeal and fight again. That'll be, I think, the 6th time we'll be fighting in court. But yeah, it's not a dumb question, Anthony. It's a great question. I hope I get an answer soon so that I can tell you. I will. Yes. So let's see here. Kevin says there can no longer be half-hearted approaches to this movement. It's all or nothing. Embrace controversy knowing that it's only an illusion. I'm of two minds here, Kevin, to be forward with you. Two minds. I do think we have to have very serious movements. And I try every time I run. I've only run twice, but both times I try to run a serious campaign, raising serious money, having serious issues and serious answers. I do try that. I don't mind controversy. You see me. I go on shows where they light me up and drag me in their comment sections and call me names all the time. I get dragged constantly. So I agree with that part. But I don't know if I want to go all or nothing, because if you go all or nothing, I think so often we get nothing. I want to go just enough that's not too far, is what I'm trying to do, right? Just enough. So logic says, how do we win over those that want government to have more control and more power? Like the people that want to be ruled at the level Hochul wants to govern at. The reality of it is I'm not against it. Some people don't want to be free. And this goes against what many libertarians will tell you. Libertarians will always tell you, everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants to be free. Everybody's libertarian. They just don't know it. I think many more Americans than realize it are libertarian. I think that's true. But there are some Americans who don't want to be free. And logic, I'm okay with that. Let them not be free. Just don't force us to be under that rule. If you want to follow what, I don't know, Kathy Hochul tells you to do and be her disciple, I'm not mad at you. I think it's a bad idea, but I'm not mad at you. Follow what she says. Wear your little vax thing she wears. Fine. Do your thing, man. I'm okay with that. And I think if we have more of that idea, I think we'll be okay. If you notice, most of my plans, this kind of goes back to what Kevin's saying. All of my plans, in no case do I get rid of the government safety net. There's a government safety net, and I then create a competition to the government. Why? To your point, logic, some people think government's the answer. Some people can't wait. Oh, government's the answer to everything. Okay, there it is. Just let me have what I want too. And then one or two things will happen. Either they'll realize, wow, that's a good deal. They'll go there. Or I'm wrong, and my idea is a bad one, and government actually was the answer. Okay, either way we win. But then we're choosing to go back to the government because it's better. God, I hope that's not true. But assuming that I'm wrong and it is true, then you'll go back to it. So the key is two things. One, letting them still have what they want. Just let us do what we want. But a second piece is letting them know that we all want the same outcome. The methodology is wrong. They think, well, if government tells them to do, then I'll be okay. And you're saying, well, no, I want to make some of my own decisions, and then I'll be okay. But the goal is we both want to be okay. I think that's it. So, yeah. All right. Let's see here. Paula says, show Larry the money. If he has the money, he can win this thing. That's why the Zeldin camp is after him. That's true. Yeah, there's no doubt. Here's the worst part. It's not like the Republicans actually believe that they're going to win if I'm not in the race. They tell their people this. They lie. They still tell this is still a thing I hear all the time. The Republican and conservative establishment tells New Yorkers that the reason why Republicans didn't win last time is because Larry was a spoiler. I got 2% last time. The last guy lost by 25 points. I was no spoiler. I wish I was a spoiler. In the current polling, he's losing by almost 20. I'm polling at 7%. I'm still not a spoiler. So, look, I hope I am. It'd be amazing. And let me be clear. Let's say I actually come in second and I beat the Republican. Let's say they're right. And their fear is, well, not that he's going to win, but their fear is that I'll come in second and the Republicans come in third. That's a valid fear. Paula's right. They're worried. If I actually get in the ballot and I get a bunch of cash, easy, I can come in second and beat the Republican. Guaranteed. I can do it. Easy day. When that happens in New York State, what does it do? It will make the entire Republican the Conservative Party will go away. It won't exist. It'll go away. It won't exist anymore. The Republican Party will have to reassess itself. All the leadership has to change over. You think all those cushy jobs those guys have, they want to get rid of those jobs? They don't. When you can have one event make $400,000, you don't want to give that job up. That's why they're after me, because they might lose their jobs. They don't care about you. You don't mean anything to them. They don't even talk to you. They don't care about you. When's the last time they went to a regular event? They don't go to regular events. They go to party events. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yes. So, all righty. Pete says, will the forward party events become bigger than the Libertarian Party? It's a good question. It is a good question. When it comes to cash, 100% yes. Dollars in pocket, they will, because they're going to raise tons of money from former Republicans. So by dollars, yes. By actual bodies, I don't know. The Forward Party is going to have to spend a lot of time building out infrastructure. As bad as Libertarian Party infrastructure can be and has been, it still exists in all 50 states. Forward has to build all of that out. If they're able to build all of that out in the next, 3, 4, 5 years, I think it's possible. But there's a problem. All parties begin and become stronger on a personality. Republican Party through Lincoln, right? So I think they do based upon parties, based upon personality. But then once that personality loses its weight, its power, right? Yang is powerful now because he's popular now. Good for him. But eventually, that's not going to work anymore. And when that doesn't work, they're going to have something that moves people forward. My worry right now is Forward doesn't have a platform that excites people. If they build a platform that excites people, right now they don't have that, and they build that infrastructure, I think they could. But unless those two things happen, no. I think Libertarian Party is still going to be bigger. That's my view. So yes. Eric says, you looked goofy debating Sam Cedar. I probably did. It's a good point. If you want to look at it, Eric, yesterday, I put up my response to the debate. I'm on his show trying to give him respect because I'm happy that the left was talking to me. The left tends to not talk to me, and Sam does. So I want to give him respect. So, and it's his show, and he can talk over me if he wants. There's no moderator. So it's challenging. So maybe that may be a valid criticism. I hope that next time we do it, maybe there'll be a moderator. Maybe, Eric, you can moderate us, and I won't look so goofy then. So thank you for that. So let's see here. DJF says, I supported Sharp. Thank you. Because I believe that he would speak out when others remain silent and fight corruption in a unique way. But it gets sometimes used worth a squeeze or not. I think you'll know coming up here soon. In my view, I don't think that the jury is still out on that. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think the jury's still out on that one. That's me. So Pete goes on to say, did you see Chris Cuomo's now saying the two-party system is trash? Yes, I know. Hopefully he'll be on my show. I'll be on a show soon. Maybe he'll endorse me over his brother in 2026. So yes. So Little J says, China graduates kids at 16 plus some European schools. Why didn't you mention this at debate? Yeah, there were many things I could have mentioned in debate. You're right. China does it. Many European schools do it. Lots of graduating at 16 is not a crazy idea at all. But again, you have to remember something, right? When you're talking to someone like Sam Cedar, Sam believes in his heart. He said it. He believes that government monopoly is the best answer. He believes that more schooling, more government schools is good. That's where his head is. I don't know if I'm going to be able to change that mind or even make that land. Maybe. I mean, there are many things I could have said, but you're correct. The most people who actually read my pre-K through 10 plan, they like it. I did it on Joe Rogan, by the way. If any of you care, you can see it as Joe Rogan because I talked about the entire thing. It does work there. I did it on Glenn Beck. I talk about it. This is my plan for 5 years. Like, this is the same plan. So yeah, I think it's a great plan. I agree. So Jeremy says, Larry, can you articulate why right-wing voters still vote for Republican candidates in solid blue states and districts instead of third parties? It's a national issue I can't wrap my head around. I think there are several things. One is if you look at New York State, the other party, and in New York State's Republicans, but in other states it's Democrats. So it's not like it's just bad Republicans. It's bad whatever the second party is. You go to Oklahoma and Democrats are saying how they're going to win this time. Right? I mean, Democrats aren't going to win Oklahoma this time. But I'm sure they're saying that, right? That this is the year that we're going to win, Democrats. We're going to take over Oklahoma. I'm sure they're saying that, but they're not going to, right? And in New York, the Republicans are saying, we're going to win this year. Ask the Republican establishment. You know how many people gave me a call, literally called me, or reach out to me via text, or reach out to me via Twitter? Larry, don't run. You'll split the vote. This is our year to win. So number one reason is they are told lies that they're going to win, right? The second party told lies. In Oklahoma, it's Democrats. In New York, it's Republicans and conservatives. They're just lied to. And because you want to believe it, right? If you're a conservative in New York State, I get you want to believe it. I do. I want to believe I'm going to win. I get you want to believe it. I get it. You want to believe a Republican can win. I know. I totally get it. And now they're going to tell you that. And the people around you are probably also Republicans. So they're like, yeah, did you see that? I watched I watched Fox News and believe Republicans can win. Well, guess what? In Oklahoma, Democrats are watching MSNBC and they think they can win. In both cases, both sides are delusional and being lied to. So that's piece number one. But the second piece is they hate the other side. They're told by everybody third parties can't win. It's a wasted vote. So they just hold their nose and do what they've always done. And they just vote for the same people they've always voted for, which is Republicans in New York State or Democrats in Oklahoma. That's the reason why. We have to find a personality. The advantage of Yang, and this goes kind of what DJ helps about, is he's a personality. And people follow personalities. So Yang does have an advantage that if he goes out and says, hey, I'm Yang, vote for me, people will listen to him. He'll get on TV shows. He'll get on cool podcasts. He will be able to make that happen. I do think that. Yes. So, yes. Anthony says, I considered Charlotte, but the job I applied for was pulled for budget reasons. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Sorry to hear that. Christine says, I found you on YouTube during lockdowns. Oh, thank you. I follow you from the Ozarks and recommend you to everyone who's interested in logical solutions. Christine, thank you so much. I'm so glad. See, some good things came from the lockdown. Not many good things, but some good things came. I appreciate that. Yes. So, I have some New Yorkers who love this place. I know. Yes. William says upstate is heavenly. William, you are correct. And I've considered moving upstate several times. For logistical reasons, I thought of the Binghamton area because I can get around the state easier that way. And I also thought of heading into, I believe at Brewster in Putnam County. I thought that because I can get to the city faster, but I don't need that anymore. So I'm not even sure if I'm even go there anymore. My daughter likes Utica. I don't know why she does, but she likes Utica. Utica's a great town. I like Utica also, but she's picked that. That's her thing. So yeah, upstate is heavenly. I agree. So yes. Paula goes on. New York has arts, beaches, great parks, wonderful cities, incredible museums. Yes, incredible architecture, top-notch universities, the best libraries, world-class shopping, awesome food, and world-class sports teams. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If Larry Sharpe becomes governor, I'll go back and spend a lot of time there. Thank you. I hope so. Absolutely. New York is beautiful. I like that. So DSG says Yang is trying. Give him a break. Got to break the duopoly. I'm okay. Right? Yeah. I'm on board. I'm with you. I say give him a break. Let's do it. Yes. He goes on to say he's early on UBI. 10 years from now, UBI will be real. I don't know. I think people are afraid of UBI. And my worry is that the type of UBI we'll get will be an ineffective UBI. That is my worry. So, yeah, that is my concern. But maybe. I'm not saying you're wrong. That's my worry. So, yes. So, let's see here. James says, so the far left supports gun rights. Does that mean the far right supports gun control laws? Yes, it actually does. Yes, it actually does. Because if you go far enough right, you get Nazism, right? You get fascism. So kind of, yeah. If you go far enough right? Far enough left, far enough right. Yeah, I think yes. Absolutely. 100%. Lil J says the far left is Black Panthers, Young Patriot, Malcolm X, all pro 2A. 100%. You are right. Absolutely. 100%. So let's see here. And then Jeremy goes on to say, Yang's Humanity Forward PAC endorsed many candidates in 2020, but very few are pro-UBI. It wasn't really a big issue back then, so I was surprised he dropped UBI from Forward. I'm not heartbroken, though. And that's what I think. I think he broke it because a lot of the candidates, people who he was with, they didn't want it, right? They don't want it. So I think that's why. So, yeah. Pete says, thank you for your answer. My family owns the Robin Hood Diner in Livingston Manor, Sullivan County. I would love to host you, especially if you're inside on housing. I'm currently in the market for my first house with a 9-month-old and a stepson. Oh, good for you. I feel like I've been to your diner before. I've been to many diners. but I will see if I can make sure I get there at one point. I appreciate that. Thank you, Pete. Absolutely. So, Nate says the Conservative Party is adding to keep you off the ballot. Yes, suing, not adding, suing. Yes, yes. They're literally, the lawsuit is the Conservative Party. Of course. Why wouldn't they? Right? I make them look bad. Look. If you're a conservative in New York State, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's what your people are doing. So yeah. So Sam says, I don't think the Conservative Party could get on the ballot with the new standards. Imagine if this costs them their own ballot. That's my point. If it does, they go away. That's correct. And they know it. Yes. That's correct. Yes. And they're working from money and fear instead of actually ideology, trying to make. Here's the issue, right? The Green Party is kind of a victim of their success. I'm serious. They're kind of a victim of their success. The Green Party, it's their goal really was to move the Democratic Party left. And they did that. They did that. They moved the Democratic Party left. And then they weren't that important anymore. And they kind of went away. The Conservative Party was supposed to be the Republican Party right. It failed miserably. The Republicans in New York State are not conservative. I mean, if you live in New York State, you know that. They're not. Sorry, the Republican establishment and the candidates, they're not, right? So they're not. It did not work at all. And so they exist, being puppet party. They don't move anybody left or right. They just sit there and go, can I have some more money from Republicans, please? Can I pretend? This is the story I love, Sam. You will hear people say this all the time. You know, teach the Republicans a lesson. Vote for the Republican on the conservative line. How stupid is that? What are you talking about? You're rewarding the Conservative Party's bad behavior by voting for the Republican. You're rewarding the Conservative Party for endorsing the guy who's not conservative. There were 4 people running for office in the Republican Party here in New York State. 4 running in the primary, right? All of them were better than the guy they chose. Astorino is an actual conservative. I mean, whether you like or don't like conservatives, that is the point. The point is, if you want a conservative candidate, he was the guy, right? If you were like, if you're a person who says my party should be, about ideology and policy, Astorino's your guy. Literally a Republican, literally a tax cutter, literally a conservative, proven he's the guy. Didn't pick him. If you go, I don't care about conservatism, I don't care about that. What I care about is personality to get a bunch of votes. Awesome. Giuliani was your guy. That guy's fallen out. This personality fallen off him. Controls a room, talks to people, laughing and joking, got his dad's name. That's the guy to go for if that's who you want. Okay, good deal if that's what you want. If you're a Republican, say, no, I don't want any of that. I want crossover. I want to make sure I get a guy who can also get Democrats. Harry Wilson was your guy. He used to work for Obama. So you had whatever it was your thought process as a Republican or conservative in New York State, whatever you thought was more important was there for you. You want conservative values? That has Serino. You want personality? Giuliani. You want crossover? Harry Wilson. So whatever you thought you needed was there. And the party said, no, Zeldin's got cash. That's all we care about. We're not going to win this thing and make any impact. We're not going to make any change in the state. That's not going to happen. We just want lots of cash. So we'll take Zeldin because he's got lots of cash. And that's what actually happened. So, yeah, if the Conservative Party loses its line, it can't do anything now. It's finished. 100%. I think you're right. Yes. So, all right. Let's see here. Kevin, Larry, would you rather be loved or feared? I think I'd rather be loved. Don't you think? The problem with being feared is while people will do what you say, the second you show weakness, they'll stab you in the back. If you're loved, the second you show weakness, they'll give you a hug and try to pick you back up. So I would go with loved. That's what I would go with. But I would take either if I was in trouble. But I would prefer loved. I think I would. Yes. So let's see here. Let's see. Dave says, after what Donald Trump did in the Supreme Court did on abortion, Zeldin's going to get his ass kicked in New York. You're right. And what I mean by that is the Democrats haven't even made the massive assault on Zeldin yet. The Republicans did that first during the primaries. All they're going to do is wait for the January 6th hearings to restart in September. And the second they do that, you are totally correct, Dave. They are immediately going to make Zeldin Trump Jr. Now, again, I don't know where you guys personally stand, whether you like Democrats, don't, whether you're Democratic or not. Here's what Democrats do very good. They're really good at this. Turn you into Trump. That is their skill set. They are really good at that, right? You're a Republican, you're Trump. Done. That's it. And what Trump does, what that does for Democrats is once you bring out Trump, Trump is the evil boogeyman that there was like, oh my God, the world's that he's going to come eat your babies. The world's going to end. Nothing gets Democrats out to vote more than Trump. So they're going to turn him into Trump. Democrats going to come out in droves and vote against Zeldin. Because if they don't, Trump will, I guess, take over New York State and kill people or whatever. Whatever he'll do. He'll do the bad things they say he's going to do. I guess so. But that will actually happen. Dave, you were 100% correct. He is going to get hammered. And they're going to hammer him on the abortion issue. Guaranteed. Yep, you're correct. Yes. So, yeah, no chance of victory. He's going to get hammered. Yes. So, let's see here. Kevin says, thank you for responding to my question. Of course, that's why I do this, right? That's what I want to do. Yes. Pete says, I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. Nicely done, Pete. Good comeback. There we go, Kevin. He got the right comeback. I want to change my answer to Pete's answer. Pete's got a better answer. I want his answer. So the hero says, I hope you win. Thank you, hero. I appreciate that. Yes, I do appreciate that. Patty says, personal story. I took out a student loan in 1979, paid it back multiple times since then, and still owe $250,000 in interest. I will die with this debt, and now they're threatening to garnish my SSI, my cardiomyopathy. Holy crap. They want me and people like me dead. This goes to what I keep talking about with having actual answers, Patty. Right? There are 3 things we have to do when it comes to student loan. Sadly, when it comes to New York State, it's not a New York State, it's a federal issue. So I will touch federal stuff because you asked the question, and I will never try to not answer a question. So even though this is not my jurisdiction, I will bring up student loans anyway. There are valid issues of people saying, I got student loans, I can't pay them back, like them up now. And we must, again, respect all sides. And people going, I paid my loans back. How come I got to pay yours and you don't got to pay yours and I pay mine? I get that. I understand both sides of that story. And they're both important. But the biggest issue is you were given a loan, and many people were given loans, because it was easy money. It was government money. So that's a problem too. So how do we solve this? 3 pieces. Piece number 1, we should allow the government to absorb 1/2 of all remaining loans on anyone's student loan. Just 1/2 absorb, easily absorb it. Boop, whatever it is. So if you owe $250,000, now you owe $125,000. Just immediately gone. Half should be absorbed immediately. Second, you and anyone else should be able to renegotiate that loan to whatever way that you will renegotiate the market. Renegotiate that loan in the market again. Yes, I'm saying break the contract. It's a government contract. Government can break it. Break the contract. And if you want to, as the person with the loan out, renegotiate the loan, you may renegotiate the loan. That's number 2. We're still not done. I then have to allow, if you want to discharge that through bankruptcy if that's appropriate for you. So half goes away, renegotiate the loan, and then, if appropriate, you can discharge it during bankruptcy. That cannot be done right now. And I go, Larry, why am I giving people stuff? Keep going. Now for the people who paid off the student loans. If you got a student loan and you paid it off, whatever school you went to and any organization they joined must offer you 1 free year of college. Now again, you say, Larry, I'm 50 years old. I'm not going back to college. No worries. That is also transferable to any family member, which means now if that college took that money and made all that money off of you and you paid it back, they owe you a free year of college. Well, what if there's 3, 4, 5 of you in your family? You get free college for somebody. 4 of you, give it to your son, daughter, niece, nephew, cousin, whatever. Boom, free college. So they have to pay it back to you. That gives you something. Now, is it perfect? That is by no means a perfect plan. It is not. But it's a plan that people can get behind because those people who paid off get something that they can now give to others or take themselves. If you're young enough, take it yourself. If you are young enough that you want to go back to college for some reason, go. If you don't want to take it back, give it to someone in your family. Sell it to someone in your family if you want to. I mean, it's up to you. Do what you want with it, right? You could give it away or sell it to somebody else if you want to, but you could give it away to your family. So now you paid for your college through a loan. Well, if you want to go to that college, your cousin, friend, whatever, gets it for free. That happens. But then there's a third piece of this thing. That's first, that's second. His third piece that matters. If you change college, how do you change it? You follow the same model that car dealerships follow. I'm not joking. Years ago, if you were to go to a car dealership, you would have to go to a bank, and the bank would then give you a loan on the car. So the bank would give you the money. You pay dealership in cash. You'd owe the bank money. Not anymore. Now the car dealership has its own finance company. So if you go to Honda, there's going to be Honda Finance. Ford is Ford Finance. So the company finances its own cars. Nothing wrong with that. All colleges must do the same thing. So the college must finance your own loan, not a government-backed loan. The college backs the loan. Well, why would that help? Because now it's in the college's best interest to make sure that your loan gets you a job. Because if it doesn't, you can't pay your loan back. No longer government guaranteed anymore. What will happen? By default, the college will have to be better. Colleges right now, in most cases, are useless. You know it. You've all been to college. Now, a bunch of you been to college. You watched it. What does it do? You don't use what you ever learned there. It was 4 years of a waste of your time and money and energy. Why'd you even do it? Now you have debt. For what? Right? You probably shouldn't have done it. It's fine. Whatever. Doesn't matter. The point is now you could assist them to where they have to make sure they're giving you good value for the dollar. Not just that. Some people they won't give loans to because maybe you shouldn't have a loan. But not just that. They want to give loans because they want people to come in. They'll have to lower their pricing. Why? If you can't afford it, you default. So they'll lower their pricing for degrees that don't get you as much money. So if a nursing job, I don't know what a nursing job is, say a nursing job, you get $50,000 a year. I have where you live is going to change, but for sake of argument, $50,000 a year. But as an engineer, you get $200,000 a year. Again, making these numbers up. Well, then the degree for nursing should be a whole lot cheaper than the degree for engineering. Because will you be able to pay it back? It will change the entire system. That's how you have to fix things to make it fair in this world, Patty. I hope that was an answer at least. So Hero says, Sam Cedar is odd, so no, you did not look goofy. Well, see, not everyone thought I looked goofy. I guess somebody did. There we go. So, yeah. So, and Patty goes on to say, your greatest assets are your willingness to talk to anyone, open mind and common sense. Thank you, Patty. I appreciate that. Yes. Paula says, Larry, I thought you did great against Sam Cedar. He was getting frustrated. You had all the answers to his counterpoints. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I do appreciate that. And Jenna says, you are gracious to criticism. How else can I do better, Jenna? Right? How else can I do better? If I don't, of course, I have to. Otherwise, I'm just, well, I know better than everybody. I'm the smartest guy around. I hope not. So, yes. Ryan says, I became libertarian during the lockdowns. Look at that. I love that. Absolutely. 100%. I love that. Andrew says, NIT is more my speed. Milton Friedman endorsed it. That's actually my GIB program. It's basically an NIT. NIT, by the way, is negative income tax. So, yes, I agree. Yeah. I do think that's a better idea. I agree with you, Andrew, 100%. I do agree with you. Yes. So, Dave says the far right believes that poor whites and minorities shouldn't own guns. Yeah, there we go. See, so the far right does believe in it. Yes, the far right believes in gun control. Yes. So, yes, 100%. Absolutely. Chad says, it was frustrating to watch Sam keep cutting him off as violently as he was misunderstanding Larry. It felt like a NAP violation. That's very good. I like that. I like that. Yes, that's pretty good. That's very funny. Jason says it looks like Lee likes to spend a whole lot of time in or near New York City and large cities. Yeah, it's a better bang for his buck, right? I get it. I do. It's a better bang for his buck to do that. So that's why he does it. Better chance for him as a Republican to get press. It's not what I do, Jason. I go everywhere. I go to every single county every single year. Yes, absolutely. So 100%. Let's see here. Let me keep going down, grab some more of these. All right. Gene says, Democrats brought up the abortion issue in order to win elections. Yeah, but I think it might actually work, right? That's an issue. It might actually work. John says, your thoughts on candidate Diane? I think it's Sayre, not Sarah. I think it's Sayre running against Schumer. I got to meet her this week, and she seems great, and I thought she listened really well. I like Diane. I know her personally. We sat in court together. I think she's great. I don't know how well she'll do. I don't know how much money she's raised. I don't really know. I'm not privy to her campaign inside stuff, so I don't know how much money she's raising. So, I mean, would I rather have her compared to Chuck Schumer? Yes. I mean, that'd be great if she won. I like Diane. I know her. I hope she wins. That'd be great. But I actually don't know. I don't really know the insides of her campaign. If she's raising big dollars, she's got a shot. If not, I don't know. So, I don't know. So, I don't know if that's a good answer for you. I'm just trying to be cute. Just be honest about that. Juan, how are you, sir? You're right about trying to recruit conservatives into the Libertarian Party. I recently got one to switch because he couldn't understand why that party was endorsing Democratic judges in Orange County the last election cycle. Because the Conservative Party is just a machine to make money. I wish it was something else. I wanted it to be something else. I was hoping it'd be something else, but it's not. Kevin says, can't change answers now. I like that. It's very good. It's isn't a mail-in ballot. Nicely done. Nicely done, Kevin. I like that. I like that. Very nice. Although Jay says, why aren't more libertarians heavily supporting you like Peter Smith, Peter Schiff, Dave Smith, Drew Carey, etc., like focus or research on one important candidate? I wish I knew, Lil J. I've been saying this forever. The number one most important election this year is mine. If I don't get the 130,000, it affects third parties for a generation. No more important election this year. Of all the elections this year, mine is the most important. This is not this most important election of a lifetime. No. Of this year, within this 1 year, my election is the most important. If I win, it will change the nation overnight. Literally, overnight, the nation's changed overnight. Imagine if New York goes from blue to gold. Completely, absolutely goes overnight. Changed. If I come in second, New York State becomes a multi-party democracy overnight. If I come in a strong third, I still make impact because third parties are seen as legitimate. That's the most important piece. Yes, absolutely. Lil J goes on to say, Larry, I know this is controversial, yet your thoughts on reparations. I did a whole thing on reparations. I have an entire policy on that. It's another thing I talk about all the time. I did a whole show on it, in fact. A whole show on it. Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to say it now. Just look, Larry Sharp reparations, Google it. My whole plan's right there. So, yes, I have a whole plan on how to make it work to where we don't punish people, but we still deal with some issues in the descendant of slaves culture. We deal with the issues in the culture. It still works and makes things better, and it's acceptable for most people, and in the long run helps to integrate and helps to make everybody better. So, yeah, I do have a plan for it. I did if you look at my Juneteenth show, my June 19th show of 2020, 2 years ago, June 19th, 2020, I did a full show on all of that and then the reparations at the end of it. So it's a detailed plan. I want to talk about it now, but you can easily find it, Lil J. Easily. Yes. Nate says, Democrats kick your, 6, yes, off the ballot, and conservatives come to kick you when you're down. Yep. Yeah, rank and file conservatives will still think you're lacking helping the... Yeah, I know. It is frustrating, Nate. It is. I got the left punching me, then the right punching me, and I don't stop. I'm not done. Yes. Patty says, thank you, Larry. That answer on my student loan question was amazing. At least someone has a real answer. That's what I do, Patty. I go out of my way to try to give you actual answers, and usually people just get mad at me. How dare you not give me empty rhetoric? I want empty rhetoric. So, Sam. Pete, you dropping the ball. Sam comes up with it. National debt, 30 trillion, 589 billion, 65 million, $959,531. Yes, that is correct. Yes, absolutely. See, Pete, he beat you to it. Just saying. Yes, absolutely. Anthony says, also need to differentiate college for education for learning's sake and college for job training. Yes, and that is, it's a valid point. And I think if you actually move student loans to being financed by colleges, that will happen naturally, right? If you want to go to school because you want to learn, not because you want to go get a job, that will probably be cheaper, I would assume, because they're assuming that you're not going to be able to pay that back. Or the reverse may happen. People do that. Maybe people who are wealthy and doing it for leisure. You have a wealthy family. You don't plan on working very much. You have a wealthy spouse, whatever. It could be that. But my point is that will fix itself either way. I can't be sure which one of those is going to actually be the answer. You may have multiple colleges. You may have some colleges that are for the elites and for the wealthy people who just show up to be cool, and their price will be high, and they may not have any loans because it's for the super wealthy people who want to, I don't know, talk about Socrates all day or something. That might become a thing. And then others who just want to learn but aren't wealthy, they may have ways of financing those. So I think it will happen naturally. People are able to buy cars of every type, right? They finance themselves, and you can buy a used car that costs you a couple $1,000, or you can buy one of those cool supercars that cost you, several $100,000. It's up to you. You can do either one of them, and there's a way to finance either of them. So yes, absolutely. So, all right. See if I can do this real fast. Philip says the same people who say that auditing is stupid and pointless when it comes to elections are hiring 87,000 new IRS agents. Touche, my friend, touche. Yes, because auditing you is great. Auditing them is the worst thing ever. If you even suggest it, you're an insane conspiracy theorist who needs to be driven from society. Yes, absolutely. Yes. What do you think, Larry? I agree with you completely, right? I am someone who thinks we should be auditing up, not auditing down. I'm totally with you. If I could magically make things better, right, I would simplify the tax code to where auditing is just, is this number correct? That's the auditing. Yes, it's correct. Done. That's it. That's the entire audit, right? I would simplify the tax code that way and then shift my auditors up to auditing where all the money goes that we give the government. Yes, and yes, you are correct. Yes, 100%. So, Jeremy says, not third-party related, but do you have a take on the Nadler versus Maloney U.S. House race, New York 12? My gut, Maloney wins. That's my gut. Because when Nadler gets on a stage, he looks like he's in trouble physically. Maloney doesn't. They both look like they're in trouble mentally, but Nadler looks like he's in trouble physically, and I think that image is going to make people shift towards Maloney. So my gut would say Maloney will win this. That's my gut. That's what I assume. So we'll see. Yes, we'll see. Yes. All right. Let's see here. Patty says, if you do not win this election, how soon do you think the impending collapse of the USA will take, and you prepare for it? I need a timeline. I'll give you something that I do really worry about. And that is, I do worry that if we don't have some kind of hope, real hope, which in my view is some third party, right? Of course, I prefer to be Libertarian, but forward would probably still could work if that happens. We have a real third party, which gives us hope of having change. We start talking to each other again. We start having conversations left and right, trying to actually solve problems, giving people some freedom and respect back, doing some of that. If that happens, I don't think there is an impending collapse. What will destroy America eventually is going to be an internal struggle, not external. There's no enemies out there who can actually beat us. So what do? They try to destroy us, have to destroy ourselves, right? They try to destroy us. They try to get us to destroy ourselves. And it's working, Patty. That's the sad part. But if we don't do that, I think by 2026, there's literally true organized violence in New York, in New York, in the country, real organized violence. And I mean like units of men, armed men, taking over areas and groups of things and government buildings and things like that. There will be organized violence, I think, in 2026. I think we got 4 years to show some hope. America, we are, believe it or not, very optimistic. It's part of our DNA. In fact, too much a part of our DNA sometimes. We're very optimistic in reality. We are. We believe in redemption stories. We believe in the hero coming to save the day. It's really part of our culture. So I think we want that to happen. And if we see some hope, I think we'll grab it and go. I really do. This country can be turned around. I think in a couple of years, if the right people get in the right spot and people stop believing that we can do this, we want a redemption story. We want the hero to come save the day. It's literally part of our culture. If we don't get that, we are going to be a mean and nasty, balkanized nation, and it's not going to be good. So I think 2026 is when the window closes. That's my personal opinion. Take that for whatever you think. That's my personal opinion. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Designing Libertarian says they let only black people sell and profit from marijuana for the first 5 years, and you'll be set. My worry about that is, well, I get your sentiment. I do. And a lot of people say, look, the war on drugs has affected black people disproportionately, so you should let black people and people of color, get to the front of the line. I get that feeling completely. My worry is that also makes other people feel bad. It attacks others. And once you start doing race-based things, it tends to hurt. What I would look at is say, let only people who've been convicted of felonies, cannabis felonies, get them to the front of the line first. Now, by default, most of those people will be black. However, there are also white people and Hispanic people and Asian people who have been screwed by the war on drugs for cannabis and gone to jail. So if you do it instead not by race, but instead by conviction, now it's the thing happened to you, so you get a benefit. Not because the thing happened to you and you're black. The thing happened to you, so you get a benefit. Now, again, by default, more black people have this happen to them, so you will have a much higher percentage of black people helped anyway. I think going by what happened is going to be better overall and sets the right precedent, and still helps black people more than others because they were affected more. But there's still white guys and Hispanic guys and Asian guys who got screwed over by this too. So I don't want to push them outside, if that makes any sense. So I hope that makes more sense. So yes. So any case, I hope that answers your question. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for today. Before we go, though, I always ask you like, comment, and share. Guys, please donate if you can. LarrySharpe.com/donate. Every dollar counts. It gets me back up and running. Hopefully we get an answer next week on what I'm doing on my ballot. That'd be awesome. If you want to pick up a cool shirt or a sign or a cool mug, LarrySharpe.com/shop. If you want to join my Discord so you see what's happening, click that link there. Larry Sharpe Discord. And always support my sponsors, the world's smallest political quiz, theadvocates.org. Click that link, share that link around so that people see it. And now the show becomes sponsored and people are happy. Guys, thank you so much. I will see you all very soon.